What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Bell Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha with Loni Love. Yo, I'm Angelique. Just a reminder, we've got a Disney cruise to Alaska. Go to cafemocharadio.com to get registered to win. Coming up, Loni Love takes us inside Hollywood with the documentary #1 on the call sheet. But first up, Loni just took home a big award for Cafe Mocha. And it is Father's Day weekend. And you know the fathers don't get celebrated like they supposed to. I'm sorry.
No, we don't be celebrating them. We like, well, first of all, some of us ain't got daddies. Hello. But, this is the thing, though. There are always wonderful men in our lives. And so you need to celebrate the men that are in your life that are positive reinforcements. So definitely honor them, take them out to a meal, have a good time. And where's your daddy?
My father died.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Take that out.
No. I think it's important because my father was, I was a daddy's girl. Like they call it girl dad now.
Yeah.
We did everything together, and then my parents got divorced and my father just disappeared. He was just gone. One time he came in the house, he snuck in the house and stole our vacuum cleaner. But he wouldn't show up for birthdays. He wouldn't show up for Christmas. It was like I didn't exist. And when I got on TV and he started hearing me on the radio, one day he calls the house and he said to my mother, and you could just imagine how this went over, "Is that my daughter I saw on BET?" I have no doubt. I wasn't there, but I have no doubt that my mother cursed him out from the ceiling to the floor. But when I got a little bit older, we started engaging, but it was never, you hope that you can build or rebuild something. But I feel like you just have to, if you want to reconnect with your father, you just have to, be where you are and connect in that moment and try to let go of some of that old stuff or try to heal the old stuff. But people are who they are, and you can't expect somebody to be something that they're not. And that's how you get your feelings hurt, is me all of a sudden expecting my dad to be this fabulous dude when he wasn't fabulous when I was a kid. So we had the best kind of relationship we could have. And after he passed away, his new wife said to me, "I always told him, he should connect with you and he should this and he should visit and all that, but he wouldn't listen. And after he died, she said, I'd love to stay in touch with you." And the sweet, kind Angie was like, "Yeah, I'll keep in touch with her." And then the real Angie was like, "I don't know you." You know what I'm saying? I don't know you. Why would I be, I don't want to say why would I be nice to you, but why would I extend myself, my essence, my heart, the piece of my father that she loved? Why would I extend that? The answer is I wouldn't, and I ain't talked to her ass since.
Oh, good. Whoa. This is supposed to be a celebration.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Happy Father's Day.
Supposed to be a celebration.
What?
It's a whole therapy.
This is my dissertation on fatherhood. But what I like, and we've talked about this before, is that there are so many, the image of Black fatherhood is evolving because of social media. We see so many dads, really connected with their daughters, and it's so sweet, and it's changing the image. I don't know, because we hear so many stories about the absentee fathers. That's what we think of when we think of Black dads. But I just wonder if there were always those amazing dads that we see on social media now. I do know some people that have had those amazing dads.
we are under this construct that in order to be a good dad, you got to be with the mother. And what I think in modern times now is showing that no, a father is a present father. A good father is a present father. He understands what's happening. He's available. He's there for people. And just because of what's happening emotionally, socially, financially, it's not necessarily that that you're always going to see fathers with the mothers, of each of their children. You're not going to see that. The image of the father needs to be, and that's what you're seeing on social media a lot, is that are they present? Are they involved with the children? Are they a good co-parent with the mothers? That's what's the more modern take on fatherhood and what it is to be a father. I think we've gotten too caught up with, okay, who's paying child support and all this other kind of, it's like, is he there? you know, when I was growing up in the projects, I can remember maybe twice seeing my father, and he and my mother would try to get together. They divorced when I was really small, but I remember just one or two times of him coming back. I have one picture of him. His name was Jerome, and I remember he used to take, like when he was with us, he used to take baths in bleach. He would put bleach in his bath water.
What?
Yeah, and he would take these, and that's the only thing I remember. And then I remember one more memory with me and my mom living in the apartment, and then I guess a boy had called me on the phone. This is when we had landlines, people. It wasn't any smartphones. And so I guess my mom was trying to like have him talk to me, and he was like, "Oh, your mother thinks that you're too young to have boys call you." And I'm like, "Who are you, sir?" I don't even so, but at least I have those memories. That's how
Right.
I look at it. It's like,
Right.
so fatherhood is what you make of it. Try to be there for your kids. Try to be present financially, emotionally, and supportive of them. And whatever you do for your relationship with your child is on you. You can't look at what society says, because everybody has different circumstances. And to all the wonderful fathers out there, we just want to wish you all a happy Father's Day weekend. This is Cafe Mocha.
That's the kind of girl I need down with my team.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha with Loni Love, Yo-Yo, and Angelique. And we are celebrating our 15 years of Cafe Mocha. And this month, we were awarded a Gracie Award for our interview with Representative Jasmine Crockett. I attended the ceremony for the Gracies along with our executive producer, Sheila Eldridge, and it was phenomenal. The Gracie Awards is put on by a group called the Alliance for Women in Media. And it's a wonderful event where all of these different women from different media outlets come together and they're awarded for their different projects. So you had people like Nora McDonald, you had Sarah Seitner from CNN, you had Angela Yee. She was awarded for her show. And it was just a really great event. And for Cafe Mocha to be an actual winner, it was just an awesome way to help kick off this 15-year anniversary that we are celebrating. So we had a wonderful time. Cafe Mocha was represented. And again, we want to thank Representative Jasmine Crockett for that great interview. It was a phenomenal interview that she gave us. And this is what we do at Cafe Mocha. We want to highlight our people who are making waves, making sure that we are seeing and putting up the good fight, the good trouble. So we will be sending an award to Representative Crockett as well, because she's part of our team now. And hopefully, we'll continue to do more great interviews, great Gracie Award winning events. But we want to thank everyone at the Alliance for Women in Media for this wonderful honor. This is Cafe Mocha.
All right. Congrats, Loni, and to all the Cafe Mocha team. Up next, he's brought us everything from House Party to Django Unchained. Loni Love talks to legendary filmmaker Reginald Hudlin about his latest #1 on the call sheet.
On the line, he's an accomplished filmmaker, director, producer, and writer whose influential work spans film, television, and comics. A pioneering voice in Black cinema, he's best known for directing the hit films House Party, Boomerang, Marshall, and producing Django Unchained, for which he received an Academy Award nomination. For the first time ever on Cafe Mocha Radio, please welcome Reginald Hudlin. Hey, Reggie.
Hey, Loni. So good to be with you.
Oh, you know what, Reggie? Your latest film, titled #1 on the call sheet. I watched it, both documentaries. It was great. You directed the first episode. And #1 on the call sheet, you highlight the journey and the significance of Black actors in leading roles. What inspired you to do this project?
Well, a couple of years ago, I did a movie called Sidney, where I told the life of Sidney Poitier. And Sidney Poitier is one of the greatest humans who ever walked this earth. And he was a real inspiration to me from my childhood, throughout my career. And I really got to learn his whole life story. And I was even more inspired. And I kind of wanted to do almost like a bookend, a follow-up on the stars today, because they're inspiring. Whether you talk about Denzel, Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Hart, Morgan Freeman, Ice Cube, all these people are so amazing. They're all successful, but they've all taken different paths to get there. And I just said, I want to talk to them not about their latest movie or this or that, but how did you become who you are? How do you maintain who you are? How do you have work-life balance? How do you figure it out? So that's what the movie is about. How do you have a winner mindset in life?
Man, as I was watching it, I felt them just come alive, Reggie. How did you get Eddie and Will and Morgan, these heavy hitters, Denzel? How did you get them to even agree to this type of project?
Well, a couple of things. One is I was fortunate enough for Jamie Foxx and Kevin Hart to be producers on the project. And so they made calls to their friends like, come on, man, we got to do this, right? And a lot of these folks are folks that I know, I work with or I'm friends with. I worked with Lawrence Fishburne in the beginning of my career. I've done, Will and I have known each other for a long time. So we're like, come on, let's do this. And once they got what we were trying to do, they were like, oh, yeah, well, I'm down with this, because they all get asked, how do you succeed? How do you do this? So here's a way that we can just put all the best advice all in one place.
I really enjoyed watching everybody give everybody else flowers. Now, was that the way you planned it, or did it just turn out that way when you were doing the interviews?
Well, yeah, I asked them about other people that we were interviewing, right? And because I like what I call expert testimony, right? Like, I want to hear what a boxer thinks about a boxing match. I want to hear, I want to hear somebody knows what they're talking about. So when I hear Will Smith talk about what he admires about Jamie Foxx, when I hear, when I hear Eddie Murphy talk about The Rock, you just go, oh, wow, they don't just go, I like this dude. Here's what I admire about how they do what they do. And, you wouldn't think Lawrence Fishburne would say, here's why I'm a fan of Kevin Hart. But when he breaks it down, you're like, wow, I never thought about that. But you really made me see Kevin Hart in a whole new way. And and they work together. They know each other. So he's talking from real knowledge, and I really appreciate that.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line, director Reginald Hudlin. We're talking about his new film, number one on the call sheet. It's playing exclusively on Apple TV Plus. Now, was there a particular interview or moment during the filming of number one on the call sheet that stayed with you, Reggie, on a personal level?
Oof, there was a lot of them. I mean, like when Kevin Hart broke down all the failures in his career. And every time he thought, this is it, this is the big break, this is going to blow me up. No. All those failures in a row. And, but what was deep, so first of all, the honesty to be like, here's how many times I failed. But then to say, I realized I had to get better. I need to go back to acting class. I need to be around those creepy people and, but they have the right energy that I need. And I need to get back on the road and really build myself as a comedian. And he understood, he didn't blame the rest of the world. He took the responsibility himself to elevate himself to the next level.
And when I was watching it, Reggie, it was amazing because the history of how Denzel made it, I think sometimes the audience forgets because we've been with Denzel for so long. We thought Denzel had already made it, but actually the way you made this film, it tells you the actual history of how like Eddie Murphy was like first, and then it was like comics, and then the explaining of it was just phenomenal. As an actor myself, I could relate to it, but I forgot like Denzel. He had to make choices in his career, whether he wanted to take this type of role or that type of role in order to make it. So there's a lot of learning and Black history and the cinema in it. But what did you want the audience to take away from this film?
Well, you're right. I felt it was to really appreciate the achievements of all these amazing actors. I had to give historical context. I mean, I think about my kids, right? I mean, I'm like, you don't know what the Blaxploitation era was in the 1970s. You don't know what it was like in the 80s and the 90s. So and even for folks who lived through those periods, you may not have stopped and thought about this happened, which led to this, which led to this. So I said, let me give it historical context so that we can really fully appreciate all these achievements.
I love that. And in your view, what are the biggest barriers still facing Black actors when it comes to being number one on the call sheet?
It's still opportunity. And I'll say opportunity in two different ways. One is quality of material, right? Because there's so often I'll see an actor and I go, oh, I like that actor. And then I'll see them in an independent movie or an off-Broadway theater piece. And I'm like, oh my God, they're a great actor. And I realize they're not getting the kind of material that is worthy of their talents, right? And I get it. We got rent to pay. We got to eat. We have to work. But it's unfortunate that a lot of our Black actors don't get material worthy of their ability. So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is financing for films with Black stars because, the studios go, well, we don't know if they are globally popular. I go, but you just financed this movie with a bunch of white people who are talented, but they're not globally popular. So why'd you give money for them, but not for the Black equivalent? Or even better than those white actors. Hey! So you just go, there's still those obstacles that have to be overcome, which is, yes, we're making movies and TV shows, which is great. But how do we make more great roles, right? Denzel, got the opportunity to play Malcolm X. So we could really see what he could do. Eddie Murphy, who's just a unicorn, right? He just unknown, boom, Saturday Night Live, killing it. boom, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop. So he just got crazy opportunities right out the gate that let everybody know who he was. And we just need more opportunities like that for our super talented Black actors and actresses.
I mean, well said. And before I let you go, Reggie, what advice would you give to the next generation of filmmakers and actors of color who are trying to break into the industry and lead with purpose?
First of all, there's two. I would say watch number one, The Call Sheet, and watch the Sidney Poitier movie I made, and watch the movie I made called Black Godfather, which is on Netflix. So there's two of them on Apple, one of them on Netflix. And those are tutorials. They're movies. You'll be entertained, but you will be put up on game. And like Sidney Poitier told Denzel, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but understand those first couple of movies that you star in will define who you are to the public. And whatever that is, whether it's comedy, whether it's drama, whatever, just make sure you're choosing the right material that takes you to where you want to go. Like they say, dress for the job you want. You got to do that as an actor or an actress, and it's hard to do. And, you see Tom Cruise out here doing all these interviews, encouraging actors, like, learn every part of the craft, learn what the cameraman's doing, learn what the writer's doing, the producer's doing. And I would say that's even more the case for Black actors because, the industry isn't just, Black success is still an accident in Hollywood, right? They're not looking for the next big Black star. The Black star appears and they go, ooh, he's so talented. She's so talented. What are we going to do with them? And they're not even prepared when they show up. So you got to have a vision for yourself, and you have to have relationships with writers and producers and directors to help create those materials. The same way you see Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. That's a hell of a partnership. That's an unusual thing, but it's a beautiful thing. That's like Scorsese and De Niro. So, how can you find those relationships for yourself?
Definitely. Well, Reggie, I hope you consider making a sequel called Number 10 on the Call Sheet, because then I could be a part of it.
Well, Loni, whether you're on TV, whether we get to work together on the Image Awards, whatever it is, you're always spectacular. So I really, I was looking forward to talking to you and always enjoy connecting with you.
Reggie, you have done so much in the Black space and, for everything. And I just wanted to give you your flowers. Thank you so much for taking time out to come into Cafe Mocha and talk to us. His new film, Number 1 on the Call Sheet, is playing right now. So go stream it on Apple TV+. Thank you so much, Reggie. I'll see you soon.
Yes, you will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Producer Reginald Hudlin and Loni Love, Number 1 on the Call Sheet, currently streaming on Apple TV+. The music and conversation continues on Cafe Mocha.
We're at Cafe Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Cafe Mocha on the way. Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha with Loni Love, Yo-Yo, and Angelique. On the line, actress Yvette Nicole Brown. Something great happens in December. Yvette. Hey, girl. Yvette got married.
I'm married.
When love
Got a ball and chain.
Oh my goodness.
You better answer. You better answer.
Okay, walk us through it. We're so excited and happy for you, but walk us through it. Tell us what you want to tell us about your marriage to Anthony Davis.
First of all, thank you for coming, Loni. It was great to have you there. If you get a chance to invite Loni Love to any event, especially a wedding, just go on and do it because she's gonna bring the fun. Loni was lit and just lit from day one. Not
that's because of the open bar. Thank you.
Life. Yeah, be clear. But no, it was. Listen, I've been talking a lot about what being 53 years old and finding the love of my life at 51. I think that society tells us often that time is running out, and you better come on, get your man, get your kids, get your house, get your whatever it is that they think that we should have by a certain time. And I hope that my story tells people that it's never too late and that delay is not denial. And it's better to wait for the one, I've been saying, it's the one that your heart loves. And I had heard people for years say that, when you meet the one, you'll know. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, you really do know. It's literally a feeling of peace and understanding that this is the one that fits with me. Like, my husband is as weird as I am, as silly as I am. We'll be in a grocery store and just start dancing if the right song comes on. And we invite everybody else to just enjoy the foolishness. Our song that we came out on, our introductory song, was I Ain't Got Nothing But Love for You, Baby, from the 5 Heartbeats. And when I say we acted it out and sang and danced like some fools in front of all them people, we absolutely did. And everybody had a great time. So it was wonderful. It was exactly what I hoped the day would be, not just for me and Tony, but for everybody that we love that was able to come. So
let me tell you
really
something.
wonderful.
Yo, she is the mayor of Hollywood, okay?
Yes.
Because every and anybody that was in town made that wedding. We're talking about Octavia Spencer. We had casting directors. We had actors. We had,
Jimmy Jam was up in there. Denise
who?
Williams was up in there.
Yes.
Denise Williams.
Yes.
Leslie Odom Jr.
What?
Yes.
We had two dream girls, Loretta and Shirley
What?
Ralph were in there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was dope. We had Chris Summer and Don Lewis. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I took pictures with everybody because you know how I am, yo. I'm gonna get my pictures, okay? I almost forgot to get a picture with the bride and the groom because I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I am not surprised that everybody was there. People love Yvette. Yvette lives in her truth, which is so beautiful to see when it comes to a person who has experienced such success as a writer, producer, and an actor. How did you find your love?
Thank you. We were friends when we were in our 20s. We were in an acting class together at church, and he was married at the time, so I would never. And he ended up moving back to New York with his family, and then 25 years went by. And I thought of him often because he was such a lovely, fun friend. And I would think, oh, Tony, I wonder how Tony's doing. And he ended up getting divorced a few years ago, and we both lost our moms. And so when I lost my mom, he found me. He found me online, and we started writing and talking to each other, and a friendship grew again, and then that blossomed into love. And it's just, I never would have in a million years thought that it would happen. So it was really, we feel ordained by God and our moms. We feel like our moms were up in heaven, moving some things around for this to happen.
Dancing like Loni, huh?
Absolutely.
Me and Octavia sit over there looking like the two drunk aunties with our wine, and we were so happy for Yvette. And two things that I want to talk about from your wedding. And you guys, if you go on Yvette's Instagram, you could see the pictures. There are articles. She was in Bride. She was in People magazine. But during the actual ceremony, they were Yvette went down the aisle. Her brother walked her down the aisle halfway, and then she went. And I got that. And everybody bawling then, right? Tony, her husband, runs away. We're like, wait, what the hell is happening? He went down the aisle. We're like, wait, I need to. And he brings her father rolling down in a wheelchair. Yvette, that moment.
My dad, yeah.
Let's talk about
it. Listen, I could get full just thinking about it. My dad has dementia, and I've been his caregiver for 11 years. And in the last 6 months, he had to go into an assisted living situation because he fell and could no longer walk. And with his dementia, it was just, it was more than I could do. And so it was already heartbreaking to not have him with me anymore. And I didn't think he could come to the wedding because, again, he's in a wheelchair, and it was like, how do we, his comfort and how do we work it out? Tony, without my knowledge, had been speaking to his caregivers, and they organized everything with the hotel for them to bring him. They got a car service and medical transport and all of it to make sure my dad was there and he didn't miss the day. So, and what people don't know, because I got a couple of friends on it that were like, is he leaving her at the altar? What is happening? He said to me before he went back to get my dad, he said, do you trust me? And I said, yes. And he said, I'll be right back. And so people didn't hear him say that to me. So that's why I didn't think he was leaving me. And so then when he brought my dad in, it was just like, everybody lost it because everybody knows, one, how much I love my daddy. And just that he would do that for me, and knowing that even though I had said it was okay, he knew that it would not be the same if my father wasn't there. And he made sure my father was there. And that's just, I don't even know what to say.
Bring me some tissue. I'm over here like, oh.
Okay, that was. And then the second moment that I really loved was as I was going around with my drink, taking my photos of everyone in this fabulous, fabulous reception. There was her cast from Community. I mean, when I say everybody, it was Thomas, it was Danny, it was Dr. Ken, it was Joel.
Yeah.
How did you feel knowing that your cast came to support you from Community?
I felt it felt wonderful. Only Donald and Allison couldn't make it because they were both working out of the country. But not just my cast members, but all of their spouses came as well, which was just wonderful because I grew up with them. You know, we did Community back in 2009. So can't even do the count, 15 years ago, however it was. So for them to all show up for me, it was like having my family there. And they also all knew my mom. So anybody that was at the wedding, as Loni did too, Loni knew little Franny. So anyone that knew my mother that was there, it really touched me at another level because I knew that you all knew, one, how hard it has been for me to find love. That's the first thing. And then second, you all knew how much it would have meant for my mother to have been able to be there. So seeing the entire cast show up and just, it was wonderful.
Speaking of your mother, real quick, Loni, I just wanted to ask you, Yvette, what are some things you've taken away? You know, you wake up and say, damn, I'm just like my mama. What are some things you've taken away from your mother that have made you respect the good, the bad, and the ugly?
You know, my mother did not suffer fools gladly. So that's the main thing that I got from her. She was very kind, but she also would call a spade a spade. So my ability to step on a neck when need be is definitely my mother. My husband has now told me that some of my facial expressions are my mother, and this is from a man that never had the pleasure of meeting her. Mm-hmm. But he knows when the face ain't me. He'd be like, all right, little friend. All right. So those two things. And my mother also really loved and celebrated people. And I hope that if there's any calling card I leave when I go on to glory, it's that I really loved people because I do. And so I think that's the other part of it. Everyone in that room is someone that I personally have a relationship with, that I personally care about, and who I know personally cares about me. So it was a love fest in that room for that reason. And there were so many friends that either couldn't make it or, you know, I wasn't able to invite because of how expensive it all was. But I've even talked to all of them and explained the situation, and they even understand. So it's just been lovely. It's been love, and my mother was there in spirit for sure.
She was definitely there.
And did I mention Cafe Mocha and Disney are giving away a 7-night Alaskan cruise on the Disney Wonder? The trip is for a family of 4, so go to cafemocharadio.com, click on the cruise ship, and get registered to win.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is the Espresso. Target has seen its stocks drop, and even they admit the boycott is part of the problem. But Roland Martin says it ain't over.
The Target CEO, his salary dropped significantly. Listen, they can't live without black dollars.
The new black mayor of Tulsa wants reparations for the survivors of the massacre.
I'm announcing that my office has been working alongside our legal department on the establishment of the Greenwood Trust, a private charitable trust that will raise and facilitate the investment of $105 million in private funds along our road to repair, restoration, and righteousness.
And have you watched She the People starring Terry J. Vaughn? It's loosely based on San Francisco's first black female mayor, London Breed.
And she got so much pushback and so much drama. She's smiling the whole time going through this. And I was hit with the thought, like, this would be a great television series.
She the People is streaming on Netflix. That's the Espresso.
This is Cafe Mocha. Radio from a woman's perspective.
It's Cafe Mocha with Loni Love, Yo-Yo, I'm Angelique. On the line is filmmaker. Can I call you a filmmaker? Yeah, right. Writer, director. She went to Spelman, B. Monet. Welcome to Cafe Mocha.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited about P&G's Widen the Screen, which is a content creation and partnership platform. And you're a part of it. Can you tell us about that, B?
I a few years ago in 2019 was a part of Queen Collective with Queen Latifah's program, and it was so incredible. Got a chance to make Ballet After Dark, which is about a woman in Baltimore who is doing phenomenal things and unfortunately was sexually assaulted, but basically is creating a beautiful space for folks in Baltimore to find healing after trauma.
Wow. Can you talk about how important it is for us to be able to tell our stories in this climate and your process in doing that?
Yes, thank you so much for just allowing me to be here and, be in community with you all. I feel like for me, it's always been so important to have Black women be at the center and the fabric of the stories that I make. And so just being here is just so great. But I think what's also important is to have mentorship. Like, it was so beautiful to have someone like a Queen Latifah creating a platform and a space for young filmmakers to just make our art and make our work that's so rare, I feel like, in entertainment. I think a lot of people talk the talk, but they don't necessarily walk the walk. And so Queen Collective is, for me, just such a rare opportunity. And I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of something so legendary as something like that. So, yeah.
I love that. I mean, because we just had here at Cafe Mocha our second annual HBCU First Look Film Festival. And just to see the different HBCU filmmakers is always a joy, and give them exposure is really, really nice. And you attended Spelman. So being, an
Yes, that's
HBCU,
cool.
I love it. But being a writer and director, how do you see the future in filmmaking for yourself, B. Monet?
Yeah, I love Spelman. I feel like for me, Spelman was the blueprint and the mecca. And I'm so grateful for a place like Spelman because I feel like I found myself there. And I feel like all the stories that I make are about Black women, and I just want so much for us to just have more stories about us in the forefront. And it's challenging seeing the stereotypes that are represented in larger media. But I feel like for me, I hope that I can continue to tell narrative features and TV shows and all the things. And hopefully, just having a film also on Peacock right now, hopefully that'll give more exposure. But yeah, I think it is so important for us more than ever to be artists right now, especially at such a crazy time that we're living in. So I think artists, hopefully they're feeling encouraged even despite the world being on fire right now.
Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Cafe Mocha.
B. Monet, tell us about, it is on fire. Tell us about your project on Peacock.
So Black Girls is about 6 Black women and girls who have gone through tremendous odds, and all the stories are different. So it's like each story is a short film on a different Black woman and girl, but they all, like, the through line is that they all go through different adversities, but they do it in this beautiful way, and they are kind of like these whole people despite the different things that they experience. And so for us, me, yes, being the filmmaker, but also having great producers behind it, we wanted to just kind of like show a slice of life on what it's like to be a Black woman, and not to get too much into the weeds or glorify trauma, but to find joy in it. So I think despite them all going through different things, I think they come out at the end finding who they are and coming out as healed versions of themselves. So yeah, it's like a slice of the life of them. It's not too long. It's not 90 minutes. It's a little over 70 minutes. So it's almost like an episode of television, or maybe 2 episodes. So yeah, I hope that people like it, and please spread the word about it. And you can find it on Peacock. You can find it on Zumo. If you type in on Xfinity, you can look on it's on Black Experience. So yeah, it's a lot of different places that people can check it out, and we wanted to just make it accessible for folks to see. So,
how do you think, like, if P&G hadn't made this initiative, do you think you would have been able to, really even work your craft?
Wow, what a question. I would like to think I would be able to, but I'm even just looking at the facts of I'm probably like one of 5 Black women that went to NYU, because I went to NYU after going to Spelman, and I went there for film, and I'm the only Black woman who made a feature even though it's a documentary, you know, nobody in my class has made a feature yet outside of myself. So I don't know.
I mean, do you see how phenomenal you are? I mean, what you just said, B. Monet, like, seriously. And this is why I asked the question and why we have to hold these people that we buy their products. They got to give us something back. You know what I mean? Because it's like we sit here, we buy their products, we support them. I'm so happy to have you on today because that point is so pivotal when we talk to people about why we support certain things or we shouldn't support certain things. You're one of 5. Like NYU, girl. It's Spelman too. I went to Prairie View. But anyway, you know, it just blows my mind. It really, really does. So I think that you're wonderful. We're going to make sure that we put it up on the Cafe Mocha website about to watch your project. And B. Monet, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to the listeners. It's very, very important that we, you know, give exposure, that we keep talking about, you know, these important things. And I think you're wonderful, dear.
Oh, I think y'all are wonderful too. And I very much have been a fan for a while. So thank you for having me. Like, this means a lot, like more than you know. I'm gonna tell my mom. I'm like, oh my God, Loni today.
Tell her I said, hey, girl.
Congratulations.
We'll back too, because you're gonna be big. We're gonna have more projects, so you can always come. I'll still be here, probably with Angelique and Yo-Yo. We love you, B. Monet. Thank you for stopping in the Cafe Mocha. Take care.
Anytime. Thank y'all. Love
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To hear the full conversation with Reggie Hudlin, go to the podcast on mochapodcastnetwork.com. While you're there, you can also register to win our 15th anniversary Disney cruise through Alaska. Until next time, you can find us on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.